1 hour and 15 minutes. It's hard to control the time. Once you feel tired, you just let me know. We'll just stop.
Okay, we are live now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know. So hi, everyone. This is something I've never done before. We're going to do an interview. I have Xiao with me. She has some great questions. We're going to do a conscious channeling for this one. That way I can be a part of it and I can learn as well. We're going to leave it open. So for sure, my spirit guides are here. Hers are coming through. The blue Pleiadian is coming through. And your Zeta Gray guide is here. And we'll leave it open for whoever else would like, any positive being would like to come and answer these questions. So for now, I just see our guides. My female guide is here.
She's the smart one, I know.
She's pretty high vibrational. So she's here. And who else is here? Prime Creators here. And Yeshua is here for now. So yeah, if aliens want to show up, they're welcome. So I'm gonna start now. So Xiao, what is your first question?
Okay, thank you. So today's session, I want to explore some information about the Galactic Grand Experiment on human. So my first question for all the listeners, I mean for the ETs and spirits, is I heard that there are 22 alien races that have contributed their genes to our DNA. Is that true? Is that 22 alien races participated in this grand experiment?
Okay. My female guide is stepping forward, so one moment. Huh. Okay, so she's saying that that's partially correct. There's more. But we will go with 22 for now. That's a good number, she says, because not everything is ready to be disclosed, but there is a lot more that contributed to our evolution.
Yeah, okay. Well, she's here. I want to ask her. Next one is, if that's the truth, then I believe every alien's gene in our body does play a big role, like in our daily life. But I believe each gene does have, the strengths and weakness, the positive and negativity within them. So for example, like reptilian gene in our human being, my observation is if you can use it very well, that person can be very driven, hardworking, and a risk taker type of person. But if that person don't use reptilian gene properly, that person can be very aggressive, intimidating, negative guy. So what I can see is each gene does play a positive and negative role in our daily life. So I want to ask your guy, I'm not sure what kind of Stasi she is. Can she talk about her origin first?
Yes, absolutely. This is something I have also tried to figure out, and the only words she says to me is, I am a goddess, just like she is. So she feels like spirit to me, but all she says is that she is a goddess. But she does want to comment on what you just said about all those genes or DNA playing a role in our daily lives. She's saying that's partially correct, but because there's so much involved with our DNA, it's really highly unlikely that all of them will play a role in our daily lives. In fact, all of them may not play a role in each lifetime. So basically what you're doing is, as you're going through your lifetimes, like for instance, this lifetime, you're here to either balance out or clear out, reptilian, Zeta Gray, whatever DNA that you have. For all of it, for us to go through all of those DNA qualities or whatever personality that they bring out in a daily life would make someone a bit unbalanced, and it would be too much for our human body. Or even, we can't even vibrate high enough to express all of those genes. So it seems like there's a focus in each lifetime of what you're gonna focus on. And the reptilian one, yes, we all have it. Some may have it more than others. This has to do with lifetimes that they've spent in reptilian worlds. And that one is by far the hardest one to balance because it is very extreme. You could tell a child is reptilian by their moodiness. They kind of go through it, kind of like how we go through puberty. Theirs is like intensified, like tenfold.
So what she say, sorry for cutting her off, like what she say is, even though we have like just assuming it's a 22 alien races gene in us, that doesn't mean all of them are fully active in our lifetime.
Absolutely.
So it's only like maybe this lifetime only a few are very active.
Right. You focus on a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's part of the evolvement and the soul's growth. So she likes 22. She wants to stick with that for now because there are other races that are not even known to our awareness yet. But over time, they will be more known. Of course, the angelics are involved too.
Sure. Okay, but if that's the case, she changed my question a little bit. So let's just talk about the broad sense about Sirian, for example. If there's any Sirian High Council is listening or any Sirian being, can they talk about the Sirian's gene? Like, what's the positivity about? Like, what's the positive things about Sirian? What's the negative things about Sirian? Can they talk about?
I know I have a Sirian aspect that sometimes comes around, so I'm going to see if he is around. Okay. He goes by the name Cassius. He's here. So you want to know what the DNA or what they contribute to our DNA, right? What personality traits we get from the Sirian?
If we do have that personality trait, what's the positive side about it, and what's
the negative?
Positive and negative both.
He doesn't like to call it negative because it depends on your viewpoint. To some, what you perceive to be negative is positive. So from his viewpoint, it's all positive. They are mostly fifth dimensional, the Sirians. He comes from the fifth dimension. Some are like fourth, like upper fourth. So what they have to offer is, of course, spirituality, assertiveness for sure, persistence. So like you don't give up, you just when something, it's not like when something doesn't go your way, but you just try over and over to achieve whatever your goal is. So you're kind of like dead set on a goal. You don't give up and you keep going. That sounds reptilian to me, but they're more aggressive in that manner. The Sirians are more assertive, analytical to a degree, not like the Zetas. Very sensitive. So he's saying like emotions are very intense here in our plane on this dimension. And as you go up towards the fourth and fifth dimension, it kind of fades out. They have decided to actually keep connecting to those emotions. And this is one of their ways of connecting to us easily. Very balanced.
Right. Okay. So basically, when they meet their colleagues or friends on fifth dimension, they do not use that much emotion like us, like that kind of wide emotional band like human being.
They have found a way to control it. They still access the emotions
Yeah,
when need be, but they have found a way to control it and balance it out. Here, we're still trying to figure that out.
I see. Interesting. Thank you. My next question is about Orion. What kind of traits or like does Orion has? Well, maybe I shouldn't say positive or negative, but you know what I mean. What make their race so distinctive among other race species?
Hmm.
Is there any Orion around?
Well, he's still here. He's saying that Orion has a collection of many different beings. It's a
Yes.
star system, and everything is it's balanced. So there's a positive and a negative to everything. You know, he's saying even the angelic realms, angels have their duality. This is how we stay balanced. Um, and this is one way that they connect to us from like a higher dimension. They kind of lower themselves, so they have to lower their vibration a little bit so they connect to their negativity slightly to lower their vibration. So with Orion, there is, of course, many Syrians, many reptilians. He's making it sound okay. He's comparing it to the United States.
Yeah,
United
that's
States is kind of like a collection of or a melting pot of different races. That's
yeah.
what Orion has become. As far as origins, what originally existed in Orion, he said we would have to take it way back.
Hey, Hannah, I just want to focus right now is even though Americans say Americans very like not divided, very different because you got the different races
Diverse, yeah.
and diverse, sorry. But again, you have a collective consciousness, like a collective ideology. You can say, oh, Americans is like that. Like sometimes you can
Ah,
power
you want to know the
using,
trait.
yeah, the traits. At least there must be some. Is there anything you can talk about Orion? I know it's very hard to address, but
Well, yes, because yeah, you can compare Orion to the United States or to any nation here only to a certain degree. Um, he he's expressing to me that Orion is very well connected to Earth. Okay, a lot of beings, there is a relationship. So he understands why you ask these questions and why you want to know. As far, it's hard to pinpoint what the collective consciousness of Orion is, and when you try to categorize it that way, um, it wouldn't be fair, and you wouldn't get the full picture. But it's gone through its evolution as well. You know, that whole area, star system, where at one point it was reptilian controlled, and then at another point it was Lyran. It's gone through its Syrian phase, and then, of course, the insectoids and the Sirius War as well. But he would like to say it's all positive, really. Um, it's hard to answer that question. Sorry, he's not answering it.
okay. Let's try my guys, the blue Palladian.
Blue
Can you talk
Palladian.
about the Palladian trend?
Oh, the Palladians. Yeah. Oh, he's very blue today. He's illuminating. Okay. So he's saying Palladians are, of all the alien races, the closest one to us, the closest in vibration, DNA makeup, easiest one to connect to. Very spiritual, very free, very loving, kind of like he's showing me hippies. like a hippie kind of energy. Um, Although Pleiadians are very diverse also, just like we are. You have your blue Pleiadian, you have your Nordics, and other types, he's saying. Um,
Hang on a second. It's all very positive, but come on,
yeah,
nothing.
no, they have their negative side too, of course. Every race does, from what
Yeah.
he's saying. But for Pleiadians, energetically, they're very similar to us. And there, you can somehow say in a way that we're going to evolve to be similar to them. You're kind of looking at your future when you're looking at some Pleiadians, the future humans.
Yeah. But it's all sounds very, very nice and positive. I mean, it's nice to know, but is there anything he reckon that their race need to improve in a nice way?
Oh,
I
um,
mean, not a positive and negative sense, but like there must be
some
something.
traits that are conflicting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's always giving me the positive information, like
Yeah.
dodge my question this time.
Okay. Yeah, he understands. Okay, so the thing with the Pleiadians is they have conflict not within like their collective, but like between the different types of Pleiadians. There's a green Pleiadian, apparently, I didn't know about. There's the green Pleiadians, blue, there's the Nordics, and kind of like how we do it here in the human race, like we put each other down based on skin color.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that very, very lightly does exist within certain dimensions. They are also mostly fourth, some are in the fifth dimension. And the Nordics seem to be the driver of this. They kind of play them against each other. The Nordics view themselves as, highly evolved, sort of superior, kind of like egotistic, very vain. So there's a lot of that within their race as well, but not to a degree like it exists here. It doesn't get violent.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Thank you. How about the okay, how about the Zetas? Does Dr. Gray got any comments about Zeta?
The Zeta race. Okay, one moment.
Thank you to my guides, by the way. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, he's saying, and you know what? I think this is just, well, I can agree to a certain degree. He's saying the Zetas are one of the most judged and misunderstood race or alien beings.
Yeah.
Yes, we all know about the lack of emotion that they have, right? There's a certain disconnect, and this is why they come here and have lifetimes here just so they could open certain emotional gateways, he's telling me. Because they do have them, but they choose not to access the emotions because they feel like it gets in the way of making decisions.
Yeah.
And so some of the choices that they've made, like, the whole abduction thing project here, he said it might be hard for some to understand, but they were acting out they were desperate. I guess they had trouble reproducing, is I think what he's telling me. So their numbers was going down at a rapid rate. So they had to act. So yes, humans happen to be, I guess we're closer to them also genetically. It's hard for me to imagine that, but I guess. So they wanted to save their
Race.
race. So
Yep.
yes, they have made a lot of decisions with the detachment of emotions, and us viewing it from our emotional state may seem like they're evil, it's negative, but from their viewpoint, it wasn't. So in that manner, they are very they're viewed to be very negative and manipulative. He's saying they're very, of course, analytical. That's why they have the big head. Their brain
Yep.
has evolved and it has gotten larger, I guess. They access it more. They're very telepathic. But this is all like to me common knowledge. I don't know what else you want to ask.
Okay, that's enough information. And I do pay a lot of respect to Zetas. I quite like them.
Yeah, as do I. I like them.
Yeah. I've got two more to ask before I move to the next one. About Arcturians. It seems like Arcturians are doing pretty well among, other races. And I want to know what these Arcturian traits are like.
Whoa, your Zeta guide said, hold up. That is not true. Well, he's saying, yes, they're very highly spiritual. They're fourth, fifth, and maybe some in sixth dimension. But they do have their negative side too. There are negative Arcturians here, actually,
Wow.
doing very bad things.
Well, I do agree for that point, like on that point, because quite a few Arcturian starseeds I met, they doesn't seems like a very spiritual person at all, and they can do very opposite things. So,
Yeah.
but all the information I've gathered on the not the mainstream media, but on the YouTube and among other light workers community, that they always make Arcturian sounds like almost like a perfect race.
Yeah.
Like
He's
it's
saying that's another misconception, kind of like how the
yeah,
Zetas got the negative or the bad end of the stick and the Arcturians. However, it's in very small numbers, their negative portion of the race, what you perceive to be negative. Um, Very spiritual, yes. Technologically, they are very advanced as well, almost like the reptilians. And okay, this is really interesting. And I kind of resonate with it. He's saying that they have been appointed. I don't know by whom, by God, by the angels, by the Federation of Light. I'm not sure. But they have been appointed to be the kind of like first ones on the scene upon our awakening, or to help us awaken. And I resonate with this because when I started waking up, I had a lot of Arcturian presence around me, working on me, clearing out my chakras, working on the communication and all of that. And it seems like they're doing that with everyone.
wow, that's
So
interesting.
they've been appointed that position, in charge of like helping us wake up.
Okay.
They help you wake up to your spirituality because they are very highly spiritual. Oh, that's cool.
Hey, so I heard all the good things about Arcturians. So what about their, well, not the negative side, but the conflict side about
Of
themselves?
theirs. Okay. My guide is stepping forward for this one. He does not wish to participate in that part of the conversation. Your guide, Dr. Gray. He wants no part of negativity. Okay. Oh, okay. To me, it sounds like more like mischief, what they're doing. Just like how they can bring you spirituality, they could also mess with it and take it away also. So what you think you know, they mess with your timeline and what you think you know. Um, they will kind of distort the truth a little bit. But my guide is telling me again, she's being very positive. This is all in it's all positive because when you come out of that, you come out of it stronger and You start to let go of belief systems, believing so hard in something. It teaches you, she's saying, bend the truth a little bit. There's multiple sides to a truth, right? There's your side,
Oh,
this
yeah, yeah.
side. So it gives you that kind of a perspective. It seems like they teach you a lesson, but they mess with your head a little bit.
I see, I see. Okay, last one I want
Oh,
to ask before we move to the third
yeah.
question is the Andromedans. What
Mm.
kind of chance does Andromedan got?
Highly spiritual, very positive. Of course, they do have their dark side as well, but minute, very, very small numbers. She's showing me, wow, the Bible. A lot of the biblical people that we are aware of or not aware of are mostly Andromedan starseed. Hmm. They're a part of our DNA. They're one of the races that contributed to our evolution.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
that is interesting. But seems like Andromedans are not very active compared with like Orion, Sirian, Zeta, and the Pleiadian.
Oh. Oh, she's saying, but they are. They're behind the scenes. They have not come forward yet. They do so like what? Raising vibration of not just individuals, but nature, Gaia. They do a lot of that. Healing energy they send out. Anything else? It seems like they're really good at connecting you to your past lives.
Okay.
The human origin, they know a lot about that. They're high, really high vibrational too.
Interesting.
She's telling me, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but they highly, highly dislike or disagree with our money system.
Tell me about it. Tell me about
Oh man. It's like she's saying they view it as like an experiment gone wrong.
it. Mm-hmm.
Seems like it wasn't supposed to take the turn that it did.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that. You guys are
Mhm.
very, very interesting. My
She's
third
interesting.
question is actually for either Arcturian or any race that, just focus on the Arcturians.
Arcturians.
Yeah, Arcturians, because I heard Arcturian species does actually spread across the whole entire galaxy. Or maybe like a Pleiadian too, but I think Arcturian like more spread around more. So I want to know for one race geographically to spread all over the whole entire galaxy, how can they actually unite? Do they have like a bee like hive mind? Like they can talk
Like
as
she's doing this now. It's not just the Arcturians. She said, "You are even humans. We're all across the galaxy. We're all across the universe. We're
um
multi-dimensional beings, right?" The thing she understands why you're bringing up Arcturians. She's saying it has to do partially with their role, and it partially has to do with how advanced they are technologically and how evolved their minds are. When your mind is evolved to a certain point, all you have to do is think it, and you're there. They have mastered that.
no.
So they could
Okay.
be in multiple places at the same time because time is linear, of course.
Yeah.
They have mastered that. There are some humans that have mastered that as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, not on our dimension
Sure.
because I
So
would be out of here.
wow, okay, that's how they actually able to unite all their
They
species,
are
regardless.
collectively connected.
Yeah. Wow, okay. So it's not like a be like a hive mind, but it's more like a telepathically, more like a some kind of spiritual way or
Yeah.
technologically they're able to do this.
Energetically, they're connected. They're connected from the mind also. That's cool.
That's cool. Because from my understanding from our human history, once the country getting too big, they will collapse eventually because lack of communication or unable to reach a certain location. But it seems like, yeah, that's what makes me feel very fascinated. Okay, move to the
Yeah,
next one. I'm
that's
very interested to
nice
know.
to know.
Yeah, next one, as we discussed during our private session last time, is it appears to me that our humans' intellect is growing very rapidly, like the IQs, every generation move up very quickly, and even our physical bodies. But what happened to our primitive emotion? It seems like our primitive emotional cycle does not really able to upgrade as quick as our IQ and the physical container. I want to know the reason why is that. Why we still got like angry, jealousy, and we still can't evolve beyond the ego issues.
Mm-hmm.
We're stuck in here. It's just like our
Yeah.
thousands.
She's sending you energy. So she's saying those emotions are needed. They're needed here. It's part of our duality, it's part of what grounds you. Yes, we are growing spiritually. We're evolving. Our body's evolving as well because the more spiritual you become, um, your taste in food changes, I guess. Energy becomes your food. Um, it's balancing to have those negative emotions, and it's important to allow yourself to feel them from time to time. Otherwise, you will not be grounded. You'll float away like a balloon. That's what she's showing me.
Wow.
And although that sounds like good, it sounds good to some of you, um, it's you become more disoriented. You lose touch of reality, and it would be hard for you to connect with others
You mean if we highly evolve to the level that
if
there's
you
no
don't
doubt?
ground yourself in this reality, because this is your reality right now. This is the timeline you chose to be present. So in
Okay.
due time, yeah, we are going to evolve. However, negativity is not going anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, right. But
It will change slightly. It
yeah.
wouldn't be as brutal, but it's still there.
Okay. Because I just find it fascinating our intellect level and the physical body are able to evolve so rapidly, but the primitive emotional cycle just always stuck there for so
It brings
long.
you back down. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense for me. But okay, now I think I got better.
We are evolving so rapidly because it's been permitted. It's the timeline that we're in. It's like we're going, everything has a cycle. That's what it seems like, right? So it looks like we're going from whatever you want to call this timeline to more like a golden age, but it takes time. It does. Sort of like recalling the Atlantean energy and partially Egypt. They were in that golden age. So that's
Yep.
the cycle we're in now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready for my next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Our human do have a very wide emotional band. That means we can be extremely happy and extremely negative. And also we're able to change our mood within just a second. So I can be extremely happy, the next second can be very sad. Is there any race like us that are able to have that such a wide emotional band? Or maybe I should say, is that very common for the
And
galactic
beings.
races? Or it's a very human thing to have such a wide emotional?
Um, It's definitely very human, and this is really interesting. Like reptilians have it, Lyrans have it, they have that emotion. Even Zetas, some are more involved to
Mm-hmm.
feel certain emotions, but not to the extremes that we have it. And this is why a lot of these beings come and incarnate here, is to get that emotional attachment, like to open up certain emotions, to feel certain emotions. That's part of the main reason why aliens come here. But she's saying in there's other universes where it's even more extreme.
Wow. Okay. Regarding the
Ooh.
extreme issue, and also I want to know, are they able to change their mood like us within a second? Let me give
Control.
you an example. Say, if there's a bad guy running towards me, I can shoot this guy because during that time I was very angry for self-defense. And when he's injured, I will quickly change my emotional role, which means I can just within a second I can have compassion and
Remorse and
willing to help. Like
compassion.
you see that second of changing mood is very rapid and quick.
Yeah.
So does any alien race or even say the closer one would be Yahyao or Palladian, are
Oh,
they
yeah,
able
yeah.
to
I
change?
forget about them.
Yeah, Yahyao or Palladians, are they able to change their emotional band or mood within a second like human beings?
So she's saying that has a lot to do with your level of awareness. Um, Humans do it. Yes, there's aliens. The higher vibrational beings have a certain level of awareness that allows them to see further into the situation. So if she wants to use your scenario for an example, like if someone is running towards a Yael or whatever, and anyone that's higher vibrational that has an awareness, they're able to quickly connect with that situation and see if he's running towards you because of you're in danger, or if he's running towards you because he's in danger and he may need assistance. They can feel that out. So yeah, they can react to the situations. They control it. They react to the situations accurately, like appropriate,
No.
as much as they can. For us, we're still learning. We're going through that awareness, awakening. So yeah, we may inappropriately react to a certain situation. Some of us that are a bit more aware can snap out of it and go into like either compassion or remorse. You want to help. For some of us, it's hard to come out of it. And she's saying that has a lot to do with the reptilian DNA because they kind of thrive on those emotions,
Mm,
the the aggression, the anger. It's hard to control their DNA.
I see. So which means for the alien races, they are able to adjust more quickly than us. Well, or maybe
Their
say,
judgment is slightly more evolved than ours. I wouldn't say better, but slightly more evolved.
so they don't have to make such a big adjustment for their emotion when they face a
Yeah,
similar
they're in control of
situation.
it.
Oh,
Even the
okay.
reptilians she's showing me are in control of it. They just enjoy certain emotions more. They like that superiority, the power, the leadership thing, and I mean the anger comes with that sometimes. Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, well, the reason I'm asking this, I just want to know our human can quickly change from the very quick from the negative emotional band to the positive compassion emotional band within a flip of a second. So I'm not sure if alien can do
Some
that.
yes and some no. Yeah, aliens more likely yes.
Okay. Regarding, okay, my next one is about genetic infusion. I always confuse about this idea. So if say Syrian just Orion, I don't know which one would that be. So say an alien race try to give me a genetic infusion. So this genetic infusion is an additional DNA contribution, right? It's not something like they will remove part of my gene out of my physical body by replacing a new genetic infusion inside. It's more like additional
Oh,
genetic.
okay. She's given me, okay. So she said, you know how we talked about how many different alien races are involved in our evolution?
Yeah.
When you're getting an infusion, it's not going to be something that you technically have not had. It's going to be something that already exists within you, but sometimes maybe not necessarily in this lifetime. You know how she said sometimes you choose certain alien traits to bring forward in a lifetime.
Yep.
So when you're getting your genetic reading, you ask an alien, what is in my DNA? And they tell you, you're 40% this, 40% that. That's pertaining to your current lifetime, what you've chose to recall. For
Yep.
example, me, I I was told I'm 40% Andromedan, or maybe even like an Andromedan starseed. I'm not sure. And now it makes sense to me because I'm recalling a lot of my biblical lifetimes. And then the Andromedan starseed was mostly like biblical. They were
Oh,
involved in that. So like some of us might get like, oh, you're Arcturian starseed, you're Pleiadian, and it might be conflicting to you. It depends on which lifetime they're connecting to. And so when you're getting an infusion, let's say you were told you're these 4 different alien races, you get an infusion that was not on that list. It doesn't mean that it does not exist within you. It just means that you're going to be recalling a certain lifetime when you get that infusion. And maybe that lifetime is going to help you with whatever you're dealing with here.
oh, that's interesting. Okay, I see.
So you're getting infusions of information. It's what it seems like. So when you're getting like a Yael infusion, you're going to be recalling something from your
Regard.
past. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I see.
That's
My
really
next
cool.
question, yeah, is about emotion again. So there are basically some ETs who have emotion, some don't. So I want to know what's the ultimate evolutionary path for the beings who don't have emotion. Like some Zetas, but some Zeta do, some Zeta don't. What's the ultimate evolutionary path for the beings who don't have emotion?
Evolutionary past, you said? Or
Yeah,
path?
path.
Oh, okay, past. She's saying they all have emotion. It's just some races have decided to shut it off for whatever reason. They have their reasons for that. So reconnecting to that may be beneficial. Like the Zetas, um, they were okay. Wow, I this is interesting. She's saying they kind of started shutting down emotionally when they started going through their when they realized they couldn't reproduce fast enough, so they knew they were dying out.
Yeah,
They cut off the emotion because that would have made that process a lot faster. You
I
know,
see.
reacting to that, like, oh my God, we're not going to survive this. They cut
I
that off. And they needed to do whatever they needed to do to save their race.
Okay, I see. Um,
That's cool.
that's cool. I want to know, or maybe I don't hit my question properly. Is is there any for the race who don't have emotion, will this actually prevent them to evolve to a certain degree? Or
Yes.
what actually means emotion? Does emotion really is the key point for any being to ascend to a higher level? Like if you don't have emotion, you cannot go up, something like that. Or
Oh,
does not.
okay. She's saying it's not that cut and dry. Emotions definitely help you understand certain situations. It gives you different perspectives of looking, or yeah, perspectives of looking at a situation. You can view one situation through different emotions, through anger, through happiness, through sadness. It gives you that well-roundedness, and that adds to your spiritual growth. Um, so it's sort of like a prerequisite, but there are some races, alien races, that do not need to go through this. but they are not known to us right now. They are kind of like the mystery contributors of our DNA that we are not aware of.
Okay. So
Wow.
this way, if there's a being, not necessarily have to be a Zeta, or there's a one alien race that doesn't have any emotion, but they decided to follow a spiritual life path or spiritual evolutionary path, can they ascend without any emotion? Or can they be very spiritual, still ascending to a higher level without the need of any emotion?
That's a really tough one. Yes, they can ascend spiritually. However, there will come a time where they have to go back and fulfill the whatever emotion experience that they didn't have. But they'll just do it from a higher dimension.
I see.
So
So
yeah, I
emotion
guess
is
you can
fixing.
ascend, but you still need to go through it. The
Why?
rules are not as strict as we're making them out to be.
I mean, why is that matter? Because from my limited understanding as a human being, if I do a good deed or if I have a full understanding of a certain situation, that does help me to ascend. For example, if I am a person don't have any emotion, I can still help a Joe Blow. I can give him a $5. I can give him $50 to buy a lunch or whatever. I do help him, and I do understand the spiritual meaning behind, but I don't have to actually use my emotion to act, to do this action. Why would this emotion so important? If I understand the spiritual meaning, if I do participate in this action, I just don't use my emotion. What's the matter? Why is that so important?
Even when you think you're not using your emotion, you are, is what she's saying. And your understanding is not very limited. You're starting to, she doesn't want you to say that. She heard you saying that in the beginning. You are all knowing. You're just recalling what you know. And so by you saying, I'm very limited, you're limiting yourself. Anyway, um, emotions are tricky. Even when you feel like, oh, this is not an emotion, I'm just reacting to the situation. I don't need to use my emotion. You are. That is the core of our existence here, is emotions.
Okay, I see.
That's interesting.
Our human do have a very wide emotional band, as I just mentioned. Will this extreme emotional band contribute further to our evolution or actually causing any detriment for our evolutionary path?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Okay, what I mean is because we have a very extreme wide emotional band, like we do act very,
Yeah.
like, will this be a good thing for us to gain spiritual life, or that could be causing any detriment for us to have a
Oh,
wide emotional band?
no, it's great because we use that to release. We use that to release a lot of our past that we've brought here with us to release. Um, the reason why most beings and we incarnate here or reincarnate here is to release a lot of our past. And we do that through emotions. That's the most thorough way of releasing it because you feel it and you understand it. And
Oh,
then once you understand it, you let it go through emotions. It could be through tears, could be through laughter, compassion, whatever it is. It is a necessary component to releasing.
I see. That is great answer. Really enlightened me. Thank you.
Yeah,
But that
me
also can
too.
cause
Thank you.
because that makes it very difficult for us to forgive someone. Because forgiveness does triggers a lot of emotion, I guess.
Yes, it does. And ego has a lot to do with that, she says.
All
For
right.
one, to fully forgive someone or
Mm-hmm.
whatever random act or whatever it is, or you must let your ego go for that moment and go and be humble about the situation and try to remember that we are all loving beings. That's what we forget. It's all love and spirit. when you're here, you're kind of, I wouldn't say masking yourself, but you're in this physical body, but you're so much more than that physical body. But it's hard for us to get past that. It really is. We're
Okay,
so physical.
that's great. Next question is about the philosophy and ideology. What I actually notice is Eastern culture and the Western culture are very different, and even the philosophical point of view and ideologies. And I believe this is a part of the galactic grand experiment. So I want to ask, which ET race's philosophy and ideologies are very similar to the Eastern culture?
Eastern. Ooh. It seems like in the eight, okay, specifically what part of Asia? There is a lot of Zeta Gray philosophy in China, Japan. Sorry, my cat is being very vocal. Russia.
Yep.
Russia seems to be Palladian. A little bit of Nordics. And okay, so India seems to be Arcturian a lot.
I think Indians are very hippie-like. I saw the Indians more Palladian because they're like, yeah.
Spiritual. They do have their, yeah, slightly Palladian, but more Arcturian. There is a certain spiritual gateway that, I don't know, it's very open there to spirituality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The Middle East, she wants to say, is
Yeah, just about to ask.
reptilian, Syrian. When you're looking at Jordan, Syria, that's like Syrian.
Yeah.
Okay. Africa is reptilian for sure. Some parts of it Nordic. I think that's very interesting.
I feel that too. I'll tell you why later. Yeah, go on.
Okay.
And how's the Western culture then?
Palladian, Nordics. Huh. I'm getting a lot of different pictures for South America.
Yeah, I think South
There's a
Africa.
lot there. It's like
South
she has lined up different aliens, and I'm trying to figure out for South America. There's like bird-like beings, and I don't know if they're avians. I see that for South America. I see Arcturian. Very little Palladian. In fact, I don't even know if there's Palladian there. I see Nordics. I guess they're Palladian, right? They're part of a Palladian race?
Some of them are not.
Okay.
I mean, they are not. But that's cool. My next question is about a guy. I'm not sure if either you heard about or not. Called Michael Tellinger.
I've heard of that name, yeah.
He's actually a South African guy. He actually introduced and promoted an idea about Ubuntu movement. You
Oh,
probably heard about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's very African. Like it's a very it's
Like
very
living off the land kind of stuff?
it's like everybody it's like a social like a it's very socialist sort of regime where everybody have the same thing, contribute, share. It's about the contribution.
Mhm.
I think I met Michael Tellinger on Palladium's spaceship. I want to know if his idea
Wow.
about Ubuntu movement is truly a Palladium's agenda. Oh, let's don't go that far. Maybe it's more like a Palladium's ideology that trying to implement around the world or not. Ask Blue, he
Oh,
knows.
like who gave him that idea? Who's
Yes,
influencing him?
I think he's trying to promoting Palladium's ideology.
Yeah, your blue Palladian has stepped forward. Is that who you wanted to ask?
Yes, please.
Okay. As far as your meeting with him, it's for private discussion.
Yeah, I won't talk about that.
The influences around him, yes, there are some Palladian. Again, there's Arcturian in there. And the Syrians. He said, though, he is upsetting some races also that do not support that movement, like the Nordics being one. The Nordics, it's interesting. They like the competitiveness of society, the one-upmanship, and they're one of the main drivers of like consumerism, I guess. How
Oh
to
my
look a
God, my
certain
next
way, how to be a
question.
certain way.
My next question is about competition, but nothing to do with certain way. But go ahead, please. Yeah, yeah.
He's just touching on that. I thought it would be the reptilians, but that makes sense. And so, yeah, they're not liking that. That's all he's saying.
Okay. So basically, Michael Tellinger's idea, like the Ubuntu movement, his ideology is based on Palladian, Syrian, Arcturians.
Arcturian.
So it's not just from one, which is only in Palladians. Okay.
No, no, no.
Okay. That's something I really want to check.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. He says that, you have connections with them as well.
Right. Because that'd be interesting. Because I think ideology is very important.
Yeah. For this plane, yes.
Yes. Because you can have all the Americans look so different, but American culture, or American ideology or philosophy is so important that would influence a whole entire nation for the next thousands of years. So same as for our human race, that's what I'm trying to say. If Michael Tellinger is going to, be the next big player, his ideology is going to shift the whole entire planet. So we have to follow this ideology. So I just want to check whether his ideology is based on any particular race's ideology or not.
Alien race?
Yeah, yeah. But he just told me it's actually
Yeah, it's mainly those three. There are others. Those are the three main drivers, the three that he mentioned, the Arcturians, Palladians, and Syrians. And he's saying, be careful with your wording because you don't have to idealize his ideas. It is possible for us to achieve oneness without having such a socialist way of looking at things, everyone having like equal opportunity, equal this. There is such a thing called friendly competition. This isn't something we can completely like shed, the whole like culture of competitiveness. It's part of the experience here. But there needs to be an understanding, a spiritual understanding of who we are.
Well, I do hold a very strong view about competition, the concept about competition. Maybe I'm Asian. I think like a lot of spiritual person in our community are talking about competition need to be fully abolished. So I'm thinking, how can this be possible? Because look at China and Russia. The communist regime is absolute failure. I'm sorry to say that, but if you get everybody eating the same thing, address the same, laziness is a human culture, right? So I would be happy to what you say, like collaborate with you for one project, but that doesn't mean I want to put my weight in. So I think certain competition would be very useful for our company.
Yeah, he's saying rather than calling it a competition, let's call it inspiring, you know? When everybody becomes one and they have to dress and look a certain way, or just for the sake of having equality, it takes away our creativity because now we're not able to express our creative skills. It takes away from you discovering who you are. I guess that's all the same thing. So yeah, we can inspire each other without being competitive. Just talk to your ego and don't view that person as a threat because they have a certain skill that you don't have.
Okay.
That's
So
all part of spirituality.
sure. Does the blue Pleiadian race do you have competition among them? Maybe that's not the best word, but like a minor degree of competition or medium degree of competition.
They view it differently, but yes, you can say it's competition. They say it's enlightenment and inspiring. They learn from each other. They're very, like you say, hippie, one love kind of thing. There's really like,
But
they're free. They're very free.
I don't understand. How do they deal with people who doesn't want to put their weight in for one project? Because we have
Oh,
5 people doing one project.
yeah.
Everybody's like hippie, but there's always 1 or 2 people doesn't want to do their job.
Yeah. They don't view that as weakness or laziness because that person, just because he or she doesn't want to participate in that particular project, doesn't mean that he hasn't participated in other projects. Everybody does have put effort towards something, but you're not forced to do it if you don't want to, because there's other ways of you contributing. So if they're not doing any like physically helping you, it doesn't mean they're not supporting you, like sending you energy.
But will you have always say one project? Would you always have to pick the top 5 people to finish one job in order to select the smartest five
Okay.
people for this project? It's sort of like a
Okay, got
competition.
it. Yeah,
It's
that
like,
creates competition. Well, they're very different. I don't know. I'm trying to understand them, but he's saying everyone has their, okay, although they're a collective, everyone has their certain qualities, right? So they wouldn't call it the top 5 people, but the best fit for a specific project. They will pick that, yes. And there is an agreement that takes place before the project can start. Like, yeah, you got picked, but it doesn't mean you have to do it because there's others that can do it also. So there is a lot of understanding, which alleviates the, whatever, he's not participating and all that conflict.
wow, okay, that sounds like a very free society.
They
Nice.
are. Yeah, I want to
Without
go there.
money, also everybody get paid eating the same. Wow,
That's
nice.
one thing that he wanted to discuss. I guess in a way, our money system kind of mirrors theirs. I don't know if they influenced it or if it came from them. However, the difference is in their world, they all have their basic needs met. Okay, so everyone has housing. Everyone, is provided with whatever is necessary. Here we call it food and water. So they have the basic necessities to survive. What they have to work for is if they want anything beyond that. So if you want
Yeah.
that shiny new iPhone or whatever, that's
Yeah.
not going to be provided. You have to work for that. So
Oh,
that's what they were hoping to achieve here. But obviously it didn't go that way. Of course, healthcare needs are met and everything, all of that.
hang on a second. In order for them to get shiny iPhone, for example, so he need to do some extra job, say say 10 hours of shift, just for example. Then how he actually convert that 10 hours into an iPhone because they don't use money
They don't,
system.
they do have a money system. It's just designed differently.
Okay. So it's like a critical points, something like that.
It seems like it's not like a piece of paper with a picture on it. It looks like you're trading your services or your efforts for that object. So I'll say I'll mow the lawn for you if you give me your TV. Something like that.
Okay. But
Trading of services, I guess, yeah.
when they say crossover or when they finish their lifetime,
Uh-huh.
do they have a inheritance point which is mom that's so freaking wealthy, you know, I might just pass on all the wealthy to my kids? Do they have this?
No.
So all will be taken back to the community or the whole
It all gets distributed to the community, but they really don't have like such high statuses like we do.
So might just enjoying their life. Okay.
Yeah. It just like their money system doesn't take away from the quality of life that they have. Like it could possibly do that to us here.
Another thing I don't get it, do they really want to be a captain of the team or something like that? Because if they are so evolved to the point that ego and the money does not play any role, I guess whether you want to be a CEO or, you know, the captain of the
A
team
leader,
is not
leadership.
that kind of matter anymore. So how do they select their head? Oh, obviously by contribution, like if you contribute. But if why someone want to be, say, if I'm really good at that, why would I want to take such a role? Because by that time, my ego could be slightly reduced a lot, and the money does not play a role. I do not believe in the power play. So what's the driving force for them to step forward to take a leadership role then?
The collective, what is it? Collective mind agrees on one or two people. It's not just one. It could be a couple of people that can lead a particular project or a particular, however you want to call it. And so since everyone has their own qualities that they bring to the table, it's just decided collectively, like, oh, so this person, you know, has had great leadership qualities. He can lead, he can think analytically, he could see beyond certain situations. And in some cases, they pick two. So this person may have that, and then this other person or Pleiadian connect with people more effectively. So they pick however many people they need to pick to lead a project.
I would think, would anybody want to take that role? Okay.
Oh, they're willing to, yes, because
really?
they have the capability to do it.
But that's extra work. But don't worry, maybe I'm thinking
They don't look at it that way.
Okay.
It's fulfilling, and it's how they grow in their own way.
Right. Okay. I see. Another thing about collective consciousness is I sometimes fascinated about if there's a 5 beings talking to me and they can talking to me via collective consciousness. That means within a second, they give me an answer as they are 5 people's collective answer. I don't get it. How can this be possible? Because if I want to argue like texting my girlfriend, say, hey, let's have a lunch at XYZ restaurant, can take me half hour for 3 of us to reach a final agreement about which restaurant to go or what kind of dining location we want to go. How can they just rapidly in a second to reach a final conclusion among them? Because I'm sure there must be a conflict. He wants like a Blue maybe want food. I want a Chinese food. A Zeta maybe want something else. So how can they reach it within a second?
Wow. So my guide stepped forward and she's showing me, this is so cool. They communicate, I don't know what race she's showing me, but maybe it's the Pleiadians. They communicate through their third eye. And it's like, I see vibration and color. That's energy. And so it's like attracts like. So when 5 people decide to get together, it's kind of randomized, really. So if you want to have lunch, most likely there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 other people that want to have lunch as well. And because you're such a collective, they're not strangers to you. So like I see similar colors vibrating and coming together. I guess it looks like that is the five people that choose to get together at that time. It's not like she's saying, it's not such a huge production like it is here. Getting people together, picking out the restaurant, you know, whatever. It's just five people come together. That's it. Simple.
But what if I want to have a discussion amount four of my guys plus me, and we goes, okay, let's have a lunch tomorrow. What would you like to eat? What are we going to eat tomorrow for lunch? I have my view. I want to have Italian food. Zeta want Chinese food. The Blue want something else. So five people have a five different ideas. How can they reach a collective decision then?
The thing is, you're looking at it from your viewpoint. So if this was to take place, if you specifically want to have lunch with your four guides, they're most likely going to go along with what you choose because to them it doesn't matter. They don't place such huge value on what you want to eat. For them, it's about exchange of energy being around you.
There must be come across a very vital time, like a very important time where there's quite a few different view about one certain plan or even agenda, and the five people have a very five different views about something. I don't get
Well,
it.
that could happen if you are talking about different collectives coming together. Within a collective, there's always the like mind and that's what makes them a collective, right? They're gonna think and understand each other similarly. Now, if you were to say, what if a Pleiadian and a Lyran and an Arcturian wanted to have lunch together? That's different. So
Right.
in that case, they are still they may take turns, kind of like we do here. You pick today, you know, where you want to go. Next week we'll go there. And also like energetically, if one is in the fourth dimension, one is in the fifth dimension, sometimes they bring their own because they can't necessarily have what the other dimensional being is having. Wow, that's cool.
Well, is the collective consciousness decision always plays like minority follow the majority? So let's say Orion High
Oh.
Council, say Orion High Council, say there might be 1,000 people on the board. Like there's always thousands of people as a High Council, right? And when I ask them a simple question, what do you want to eat for lunch tomorrow? So there's a 5,000 people on the High Council board may have at least 30 different views, but how can thousands of people reach a quick decision within a second?
If you're talking about the council,
Yeah,
they are elected.
It's harder to get
Right.
unified answer. Yeah.
So they're put in that place by the people, right? Because they trust their judgment and
Yeah.
they are well qualified. So when the council makes a decision, they make a decision that isn't only benefiting them, but that's for the highest good of the collective that elected them. Okay? They're looking, so it's just, she's showing me they just send out energy to the people and it's like there's an agreement. I see like 4 or 5 council people and from their brow chakra, just energy going out to the masses. And it's understood and the decision is made.
Well, that's very effective, very productive.
It's very high level, that's for sure.
Yeah. I got a very weird questions I'm always thinking in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like high councils across all the galaxies, like all the different races, they have a council of 7, council of 9.
9, yeah.
Like 7 or 9. For that, I do understand. Like for our legal judicial system, we got a jury, 12 jury system. But sometimes I would admit like a council of 12. I don't understand how to work because what if there's like 6 votes against 6 votes? On Earth,
why is it an even number?
Yeah, like on Earth we call this is a hung jury. So
Yeah.
that means 6 votes against 6 votes. It's actually the legal proceeding will be crushed. So you have to redo this again. What if there's a council of 14 or council of 12? I don't understand how they
Okay.
the
This is
public.
really cool. She's explaining it to me, my guide. You're looking at it from a very human point of view, as far as the votes and the odd numbers, but the numbers don't actually have anything to do with how many votes they get. It has to do with the collective. So I'm going to try my best to translate this. For example, the Council of 12. The reason why there's 12 is because they represent a alien race that may have 12 different views on things, I guess. That's not a good word, but I'm going to go with it. And so they elect 12 people that have the 12 different perspectives or perception, whatever you want to call it, on whatever it is that they deal with. And so therefore, it's not about voting, but it's about coming together from those 12 different perspectives to make a decision.
Yes. But how can they make such a decision so quick if they have a 12 different perspective?
Because they are of a high mind, and they are of like these 12 or 9 or whatever that are elected have evolved so much more. And so they have a larger view, a larger scope, kind of like our spirit guides are guiding us. These people can be considered that are guiding the race, I guess.
Obviously, in order to achieve a final decision, certain perspective point of view must be compromised. So if there's a 9 people say, let's go this way, the rest 3 must say, all right, if that's the way, we might just follow. Oh, I'm not sure how to work. Maybe
You can call it compromise, but she's saying it's sort of like when these 12 council or whatever come together and make a decision, it's like the collective evolves a little bit because now they have a higher understanding of why something needs to be that they may not have known before. Because these 12 beings come from such a higher point of view. They're able to show the masses what it is that they're not seeing in order for a decision to be made. And so it usually ends up in a understanding, and there's no conflict but just growth.
I see. Thank you so much. I'm so enlightened. So the number does not matter at all. It's just okay. I see. I want to ask you about the hybrid, our hybrid children. If the ground crew, even for you and me, we always have like a hybrid children, right? Do we have any parental, like a parent's obligation or like obligation towards our kids? Because we always have quite a few, then it's nice. But do we have any obligation towards them or any like duty we have to fulfill?
That's a good question. So my guide is saying she doesn't like the word obligation because it is not an obligation. Just you providing your DNA and giving life is enough. They are well cared for. And spiritually, in astral or whatever, you do get together with these children. You just don't remember it. So it's not an obligation. It's just all about creation. There's a certain level of understanding that they have in the higher dimensions that we do not have. One second. She's saying your only obligation is to yourself. That's it. There's no obligation to these children. You've already given them life. What more do you need to provide?
Yes. That's interesting.
You're connected to them spiritually. They have your personality traits. Sorry, go ahead.
On us, like each of us, I'm not sure each or not, like at least for me, we are sometimes quite depend on our parents when we were young. I was always looking for where's my mom, where's my dad. Does this the case for the hybrid children as well? because they may have a few moms, a few dads, and not just one or two, right? So
Sort of like it takes a village. That's how they're raised in a community setting.
yeah,
So they really don't go through that want and need for a specific parent. It's all provided for them.
mm, okay,
They're growing up in like such a well-rounded way. They have different adult influences that helps their evolution.
okay,
And like you are needed too because they need to understand the human DNA. So when that time comes, yeah, they'll come around you.
okay, I see. I want to ask you about like on Earth, normally, especially for the first world countries, they are not always very like the idea of new immigrants. Like when the new immigrants trying to get in, it seems like they think if there's a new people come in, that will dilute either their pure bloodline or maybe sort of convert their social ideology or philosophy in some way. Say if there's a flood of Chinese or Asian or whatever to a certain country, say American, for example, like in USA, people doesn't really like it. If that's the case, I want to know why the galactic families are really fancy the idea of hybridization of our hybrid children, because our hybrid children will be eventually live among them. Do they have that fear that their own race will be highly diluted?
No. That you speak of exists here for a reason. Of course, it is influenced by several different alien beings, mostly Nordics and reptilians. Um, this is a test to humanity to see how well we can come together, overcome and come together. That's the purpose of why that exists. See if you can see beyond someone's culture, color, beliefs, or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
There, that does not. It exists slightly in certain alien races and dimensions, but not to the extent that it happens here.
Okay. So let's see if it's a Syrians. If there's so many hybrid children living on Sirius world right now, because so many of them, how it's always a crossbreeding with each other, but how can they keep the essence of their race? Is there any way they can say, because it is so highly hybridized and
Yeah,
so crossbreeding?
there is an energy signature that they connect to.
Oh, I see, I see.
They're of that collective mind.
Right, that determines who are Syrians, who are Orion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. I'm
Every
really
race has that.
okay. I've got two more questions, then we can finish. Would that be
Okay.
okay? Yeah,
Sure,
that'd
yeah. I'm enjoying this.
be thanks. Like I heard so many races do have monarchy system, like they still got the kings or queens,
Mm-hmm.
in Orion, Sirius, and Pleiades and Lara. How can this work? Are they actually selected, the kings and queens selected by the bloodline, or just like a presidential election selected by the people?
Not bloodline. It has to do with the spirit, kind of like how we talked about the council of 12 or 9. Whoever is elected to be the king or queen has a lot of the qualities that the collective has, but on a much higher level. They have a bigger, it's all about having the bigger view and the bigger understanding so that she's showing me like you're standing on top of a mountain and you see the masses below on the surface area. You have the bigger view. You're going to know what's going to come down from the sky before they do, right? So you have that ability to look forward and lead them. So this is how this individual is elected to be the king or the queen, but it's not as prestigious as we make it out to be here. They live amongst the people just like anybody, really.
Okay, so it's more like a cheerleaders or sports celebrities, like you leave among people, but you
It's
still
not
get
like
that
that.
popularity. No, not like that.
No
Okay.
celebrityism. It's just that um, they're looked upon for guidance because they have that capability. And everyone goes through that as they evolve more. If there is a certain individual that evolves a little bit faster than the rest, that person will replace this one. They'll be kind of like groomed into taking over this position.
Mm, okay. Um, but would king or queen has the similar judicial power or executive power like the councils have? Because my understanding is that high councils always make a lot of decisions about their whole like a species. How about the kings and queens? What kind of role do they play compared with the high council in each star system?
It's similar. There are slight differences. The king and queens have their own council um, in some cases. Um, one second, she's showing me something. It's similar to ours. It seems like they are the drivers of the decision, but the decision comes from the council in some cases, and in other cases, they are the council. They make the decisions. It depends on which alien race you're talking about. And
Okay.
the need to have a council and a monarchy or a king or a queen depends on how vast or how big the race is, how many planets they occupy.
Yeah.
All of that plays a role.
Ah, okay, that's interesting. My last question is about Akashic record. I don't
Okay.
understand why so many races are fighting among each other, try to say claim themselves to be the earliest builder race for our humans. Like everybody say, I arrive on Earth first before you do. Why can't they just check Akashic record? Say, oh, here we go. That's all the answers, all written down in Akashic record. Would that be so simple and easy?
Wow. Okay. So your question is, rather than making claims, why don't they just bring forth the Akashic record to
Yeah,
see
just put it
who
over,
was
have a
the first one?
yeah, because my understanding of the Akashic record that records every single thing since the birth of this whole universe.
Well, she's saying God is always first.
Oh yes, of course, of course.
Um, well, not all of them have access to the Akashic record. You have access to your own.
Mm-hmm.
So she's saying, again, it's different views and different perspectives. So no one really has access to everyone's Akashic record.
So, well, that
So your
brings
record could say you were first, but it doesn't mean somebody else, beat you to it.
right. So Akashic record only records each individual's.
We
It's
each we have our own. And she's showing me like a huge library of records. Oh, that's just mine. So everyone has like their own library of
yeah.
records of your lifetime.
So what she say, Akashic record is very subjective view on
Yes.
a lot of degree because your
Yes.
view is different
Yes.
towards me. Because my
Yeah.
reading is different towards yours.
Yeah.
But can't they just pull up a third party's Akashic record to verify it? Say, what
They
if they
can. And it could say they were first.
well, but what if they pull for the Mother Gaia's Akashic record? Would that be more objective? Because Mother Gaia, whoever
Ooh.
arrives on her first is
That
always.
is a good question. So my guide is saying again, why is this important? Whether it was the chicken or the egg that came first.
I actually have an answer for that, but go ahead for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could possibly pull up Mother Gaia's Akashic record to see what the first life was here. That's possible. If it's whether it's allowed, I don't know. And I don't know who would have access to her record, actually.
I don't know. That'd be interesting to check out right now.
Does she have a spirit guide?
I mean, can
Let's
Prime
see.
Creator? Oh, I heard
Prime
that.
Creator is a good source.
Yeah, or maybe I heard Mother Gaia do have a parental planets too,
Yeah.
because she must be came from somewhere.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody must able to access into her Akashic
Yes.
record. Let's check this out.
My guide is saying that's not allowed.
What? I mean, if we're allowed to do this would be the most simplest way to resolve a lot of conflicts in our galaxy. Because reptilian, so many different races try to claim that they are the first settler.
Well, she's showing me insects, though. They were first. It seems like from her viewpoint. The insectoids.
I also heard there's a race from the center of the galaxy called the Wingmaker or something like that. The Lord Elohim, they created the initial vibration energy of us. So they could be the first. Who knows? But again, you're right. So it's all very subjective.
Well, we're all adding vibration to the planet, really.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty happy with this answer because it may take a long time to finish it.
Yeah.
So that will conclude my question for
That
today.
is a really good line of questions. Thank you. I
Thank you.
learned a lot.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, you there, Xiao?
Yeah, I'm here. It's just suddenly jammed. Are we still on air?
No. Wait.
I think we are.
Really?
I see it live.
Yeah, it's
There's a-
stopping.